You can't be being fair because you never apologize or pay reparations for what's happened in the shape that the countries are in. So I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing on YouTube with all these African news channels and leaders speaking up, being forceful, and that's what we need. There's a spiritual part to this. The wicked ways and the treasure stored up from the wicked is coming over to the people who've been done the wrong for the longest in this whole planet. And so I'm encouraged by what I see. I want to interview many of you. So I love to talk to you just so our people would know how structurally we have Africa linked into us in America and how we want to do trade, foreign exchange, all of that with you guys. So we love the homeland. Many of us can't wait to touch down in the homeland. And to my people in the homeland, if we're not collecting the money, then we can forget about the travel. With the collecting of the money, people are put to work and we can be traveling over there. So anyway, the Senate of Nigeria, or ECOWAS, disagreed with going to war because what was going to essentially happen was white France was going to have blacks killing other blacks for white interests, which would have been totally backwards. So I'm glad God allowed the Senate to say no, we are not finna shed blood with our brothers and sisters in Niger. And to all our people in Niger, shout out to y'all making sure y'all was out there marching. It's hard for them to hide that stuff when you're out there in mass numbers. And I'm glad y'all did that to show that y'all in agreement with not having a leader in place that's going to be compromised and letting your resources lead to support Europe. And to all my people in Europe, my Afro-French people in Europe and France, our Afro-British, our Afro Spaniards, our Afro-Portuguese, it's Afros all over. And so for you guys, we want to make sure that we protect you by not linking you in, because we know how they will come and try to do something to you, but we see you, we recognize you and your struggle, and the time is coming where we're going to be able to be more coordinated as Africa's all throughout the diaspora, and so support is going to come your way. Thank you. When George Floyd was killed, how you guys rose up and showed out all around the world. So I just wanted to put that out there. But going back to them voting no to intervening, it's not over yet. What we're going to be prepared to do is we're going to be looking at all the French interests here in the U.S., whether it's the French Quarter in New Orleans, whether it's Christian Dior, the company, whether it's L'Oreal, Michelin tires, all those structures that may be silent about what's happening with France wanting to keep exploiting Africa, the $500 billion in their banks, all of the things they're doing wrong. For all the people who say they love African Americans and you allow this to happen, the day is coming where we're going to say no more. We're not going to keep giving you financial support. We're not going to do your commercials and encourage more blacks to support you if you can't even do the decent human thing. We don't even have to say it's about blacks and Africans. This is the human thing to do, to not exploit people, to not let people die and be homeless for your greed, so you can take exploration trips and go to the moon and the Titanic. All those things that show a lack of humanity in you, that people can be starving and hurting and you out here buying a $5 million painting. So it's really unacceptable and inhumane, and those days are numbered. My number is 312 area code 405-8844. Wanted to get this captured and documented and make sure all our brothers and sisters throughout the whole world just know that we rising up, and they can't stop this. It's just right. It's time for those people to learn how to share. We're going to create the European Sharing Council. The European Sharing Council. And the European Sharing Council is going to be designed to help those good Europeans, those good human beings who understand that it's about how do we live as a cohesive 8 billion person world, instead of Europe always having to be in charge, in control, the center of attention. So these are the good white folks who's going to be working with us. We call them modern day abolitionists, MDAs, who's going to help us with this council so that we can help those who may not have evilness in their heart, but just been conditioned to feel a certain way, migrate into being a more well-rounded human being and not someone that's borderline wannabe supremacy. So the European Sharing Council, ESC. All right, take care, you guys. Peace.